tried filming this earlier and I forgot to turn the camera on. So yeah. Yeah. So as you guys know, I'm a big advocate on introducing paint by number to kids, because that's how it was introduced to me. I was not, what you say, introduced to paint by number as kits, as they do with kids these days. I was full-blown paint by number, probably the kind that adults do. But I was getting some groceries this morning, and so at BJs, and BJs is similar to Costco or Sam's, that sort of thing. And so they had this paint by number art kit, and I'll show a picture of what it looks like right over here, and I will show a picture of it down here. Like I said, I filmed this one earlier, and my camera over here was not on. So I took it all apart, and I put it all back together. Okay, so we're going to take it apart again. Which, putting it back together was quite interesting, putting it back in the box. Alright, so, basically, it says it has 99 different pieces of art. You have all of the paints here. You have 3 paint brushes. And then, I don't know that I got this thing back in the box right, but we'll do our best showing what all it has. You've got some cards here, and the paints are on cardboards. So you can see that the cardboards match up. And the paints are here and the numbers, and of course you've got the paints here also. And then the cards match up also on here. And I was showing, I was pointing out, earlier, well, you guys didn't see my earlier video. No. But I did do a tiny bit of painting on one of them, and you can see it here. On the bird. And the paint brushes are not bad. They're not the best paint brushes in the world, but they're not bad. I would say if you're going to introduce a kid to paint by number, get him some good brushes. That sort of thing. I mean, just do it. The paints are pretty good. I opened, I think, number 10. Here's the interesting thing about this, and that you would have to explain to a kid, that these paintings have arrows to them. And years ago, when I first started doing paint by numbers were done with oil painting. The paints were oils, and they would take forever to dry, and I do mean months to dry. And they would do arrows, and instead of making the fonts smaller and putting the fonts smaller into the space, they would just make arrows. So you would have to paint the colors into the arrows first. So that's what you would have to do with this first, because if you paint 11, you would paint over 10, or if you paint 9, you would paint over the 10, or that sort of thing. So you'd have to explain to the kid. I would think that an 8-year-old would know, I need to do that first, but you might need to explain it to him. I don't remember anybody explaining that to me as a kid. I just kind of figured it out on my own, that, well, duh, if you paint that over, you're not going to remember that arrow meant something. Paint by numbers that I see today, you don't see those arrows. I've been doing paint by numbers for probably the last 20 years or so, and you just don't see arrows anymore. They just make the font smaller, and sometimes they're really, really small, but they're in the spot that they need to go. So I did use, when I did this bird's feet, I did use this little brush here. as opposed to their brush, but I did use one of their brushes to do the beak and his eye when I opened the tin, and it was actually really good paint. So I'm actually looking forward to painting one of these, and I will record me painting a couple of these so you can kind of see how they turn out and that sort of thing. There's no grit to the cardboard. It's cardboard. So they are a little warped, but again, it's cardboard. So you got to go with that. These little sheets are kind of cute that they came with. So yeah, I mean, it's a good way to get a beginner, paint by number practice, I suppose, before you give them bigger projects, if they seem to like this sort of thing. So there you have it. I think it was like $12 or something like that. So it wasn't very expensive. They had this one, and then they had a bunny Easter series thing. So I bought one of them. Like I said, I think it's pretty cool that people are introducing paint by number to kids, so I was just curious to see what was in there and what the condition of the paints were. They sent a lot, and I mean a lot of paint. I mean, there's a lot of paint in here. I mean, look at all this paint. I think I'm going to have some leftover paint, especially if it's good paint. It's going to be nice to have some extra paint left over. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so I'm going to get off here and do some things with the family. And what do I always tell you guys? Go out there. Be absolutely awesome. Do your thing, and I'll see you in my next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.